Alright guys, welcome to another What's Sold video. So in this video we're going to do 15 items, but they're going to be all vintage items. So they all recently sold within the past few months, so it took a little while to make a list of 15 vintage things. Alright, so I'm going to show you the item on the screen, tell you what I paid for it, where I got it, how long it took to sell, what it sold for, and my approximate net profit. Alright, so the first item is going to be a Jorgensen clamp. This is for woodworking. At the local thrift store, I picked it up for $1, and I'll often look for tools, especially like, vintage ones. If you can find like Snap-on stuff, that's a quality brand. Anything vintage, I've sold Plumb Bob and levels, so always keep your eye for stuff like that. But this is Jorgensen is the brand. It's a woodworking clamp. Picked up for $1, sold for in 1 week. It sold for $18.75 with free shipping, and I netted approximately $8. Next up, we have a Bosch & Lomb, which everybody knows from like eyeglasses and contact lenses. Well, there was a magnifying reader, and it was like a colored plastic, vintage, really cool looking. It was like kind of like a yellowish with like a burgundy veins in it. Paid $1. It sold in 1 month. Sold for $34.75 with free shipping. I netted approximately $25 to $26. Now, something so unassuming like a magnifying glass like that, or a reader, whatever you want to call it, and it sold for $34. Next, we have Kodak. It's a slide projector, kind of the old school from when, I know when I was in school, and it's a round, and you put the slides in it, and you project them onto a screen or a wall. So I picked it up at the Goodwill bins, and it didn't have the tray for the slides, and it was untested. Luckily, when I got it home, it all worked. Paid $7 for it at the bins because it was very heavy. It sold within 3 weeks, sold for $55 plus $20 shipping, and I netted approximately $40 to $42. Next up, everybody knows this brand, Dymo. Most people know it from the printers. And this is an M6 label printer. It's from the 80s. I paid $1 for it at a local thrift store. It sold within 2 weeks. Sold for $18.75 plus $4 shipping, and I netted approximately $14 on it. Here we have a good brand, Carrera. People know that maybe from like Porsches and so forth, but these were old school roller skates, almost like roller derby skates. And I got them at a local thrift store. When they were rolling them out in the cart, I saw them and they looked pretty interesting, so I comped them. I paid $10. They sold within 1 week, sold for $69.75 plus $15 shipping, and I netted approximately $48 on it. Okay, here's a brand that if you're into hunting or guns, you'll know about, Remington. This was a vintage hunting hat. I picked this up at a local store for $1, and it took 2 months to sell. Sold for $17.75 plus $3.50 shipping. So after that, I netted approximately $13. Now here's a good brand in clothing, Woolrich. It's actually the oldest outdoor clothing company in America, and they still make to this day, but their old stuff, if you actually Google Woolrich label dates, you can see pictures of different labels and when they're dated from. This jacket, I paid $3 for at a local thrift store. It sold within 4 days, so that was really quick. Sold for $42.75 plus $8 shipping, and at approximately $31 to $32. Okay, the brand on this item is called Rival, and this is a vintage can opener. Has a really cool, like that, almost Art Deco green. A lot of utensils back then were made with that color. I paid $3 at a local thrift. It took 6 months to sell, so that was quite a while. Sold for $27.95 plus $10 shipping, and I netted approximately $20 on it. Next up is a great find, Bushnell. You might have heard that name when it comes to binoculars, but Rangemaster is the line within Bushnell, and they are supposedly the best binoculars ever made. And they are vintage. I paid $5 for them. They sold within 2 days, so that tells you how good that they are, that they sold in 2 days. Sold for $80 plus $10 shipping, and I netted approximately $62. And I found these at the Goodwill bins. All right, next up we have a Polo Sport teddy bear sweatshirt. Found this at a local thrift, paid $1 for it. Sold within 2 days, and it sold on Poshmark. I took an offer of $30, and I netted approximately $23. Okay, here we have another Bushnell Rangemaster. This one I found at a local thrift. It was in the jewelry case, and I couldn't believe the previous one, the day that I had that in my car to ship out that is sold, I found this one. And I had known about this binoculars for a long time, and to find two within like a week's time was amazing. So this one I paid $10 for at the local thrift. This one sold within 5 hours. So the first one took 2 days, and this one took 5 hours. So that's a good bolo for you. Bushnell Rangemaster binoculars. Sold for $125 plus $8 shipping, and I netted approximately $95 to $97. Now these sold for more because these were an older model than the other ones. Alright, here's something very minor. This is just a Boy Scout tie slide. I found this in the bins, and I'm going to just say zero cost on it because it's basically like not even an ounce. So it didn't really change the price of the things I bought that day. It sold within 3 weeks for $9.95, free shipping, and I netted approximately about $5. I mean, obviously I knew it wasn't going to be a big seller, but it was just something cool that I saw in the bins, and you know, it doesn't add cost. When you find lightweight things like that, just throw them into your bag. Right, here's Pyrex. I always comp them. I don't know much about them, but certain ones I do. You know, there's so many different patterns and colors that I have to comp them to know what they are. But this one is the 508 D handle measuring cup. They typically have 2 handles. The D handle is the one that connects on the bottom, so it looks like the letter D. The other one I call a hanger, where it's open on the bottom. Those don't sell for as much, even though the 508 D handle isn't much, but it's still quick profit. So I paid $1 at a local thrift store. It took 1 week to sell, and it sold for $12.95 plus $4 shipping, and I netted approximately $9. So again, it's not big money, but I've sold them, you know, last year I probably sold 4, 5, 6 of these. So I know they always go for that $15 range, but if I'm only paying $1, it's worth to pick up because I know it's going to go quick. Okay, here is a belt buckle. I always check the local thrift store in a jewelry counter. They always have cool belt buckles. And anywhere in general, look at the belts. If you find a good buckle on a belt, remove the buckle if the belt is no good, and just sell the buckle. Typically, they're not going to go for a lot of money, but if you're only paying $1 or so, you know, it's good profit. So this was a Porsche one. I paid $2 at a local thrift. It sold within 15 minutes. I listed it on Poshmark, and I immediately got an offer. So I took an offer of $24 on Poshmark, and I netted $19.20 on that. Actually $17 minus the cost. So, and this was dated 1979, solid brass on the back, so I definitely knew it was vintage, and it was pretty cool. The paint was a little scuffed on it, but anybody who's into buckles or into Porsche, so it kind of hits 2 markets. And lastly, here's another belt buckle, another good brand that goes, NRA, National Rifle Association. I paid $2 for this. I bought this at the same time that I bought the Porsche buckle. This one sold within 4 days. Sold for $17.75 plus $4 shipping, and I netted approximately $12. Okay, so out of these 15 items, my total buy cost was $48. Out of the 15, 9 sold in under 1 week. 3 sold between 1 week and 1 month, and 3 sold over 1 month. So that's a pretty good split. A lot of fast sellers. And my approximate net profit was $425 on 48 spent. So that's almost 10x my money. Alright, so that's 15 vintage items that recently sold. You know, vintage is a term kind of used loosely sometimes. Technically it's supposed to be anything 20 years and older. You know, that gets played with a lot, that date line. But these are all definitely vintage items. So keep an eye out for them. Hopefully you learn some new brand here. Or if not, maybe an item to look for. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed the view behind me. I'm starting to get a sunburn, so I got to get out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.